Picture this, a cargo plane so massive it could swallow a football field, tanks with 5 turrets that looked like rolling fortresses, and flying ships that skimmed across water faster than most jets. The Soviet Union didn't just build machines, they built monuments to human ambition that honestly defied every rule of conventional engineering. These weren't just vehicles, they were statements of power, dreams made of steel and concrete that announced to the world that impossibility was just another engineering challenge to overcome. Today we're exploring 10 Soviet creations that, well, redefined what machines could actually accomplish. The discovery that changed everything. The Antonov An-225 Mriya was the largest aircraft ever built, so massive that its cargo hold could fit 50 cars with room to spare. This Ukrainian giant measured 275 feet long with a wingspan of 290 feet, powered by 6 turbofan engines that generated enough thrust to lift a fully loaded 747 into the sky. Originally designed to carry the Soviet space shuttle Buran on its back, the An-225 represented the pinnacle of cargo aircraft engineering. Its maximum takeoff weight reached 640 tons, equivalent to 400 average cars stacked together. The aircraft's 32-wheel landing gear distributed this enormous weight across multiple contact points, allowing it to operate from airports that couldn't handle conventional heavy cargo planes. What made the Mriya truly extraordinary was its versatility. Beyond space shuttle transport, it carried everything from power plant generators to humanitarian aid supplies. In 2010, it transported the longest cargo item in aviation history, 2 138-foot wind turbine blades from China to Denmark. The aircraft's built-in crane system could handle 33-ton loads, while its pressurized cargo compartment maintained perfect conditions for sensitive equipment. The An-225's operational capabilities were equally impressive. Despite its size, it could reach altitudes of 36,000 feet and cruise at 528 miles per hour. Its range of 9,569 miles meant it could fly from London to Australia without refueling, making it the ultimate global cargo solution. Tragically, this engineering marvel was destroyed during the 2022 conflict in Ukraine, ending the operational life of humanity's largest flying machine and marking the loss of an irreplaceable piece of aviation history. An object unlike anything. The T-35 was the Soviet Union's answer to the question, what if we built a tank that looked like a land battleship? This 5-turreted monster measured 32 feet long, 10 feet wide, and 11 feet tall, making it one of the most imposing armored vehicles ever constructed. Weighing 45 tons and requiring a crew of 11 men, the T-35 bristled with weaponry that would make modern tanks envious. Its main turret housed a 76mm cannon, while 2 smaller turrets carried 45mm guns, and 5 additional positions mounted 7.62mm machine guns. This firepower arrangement meant the T-35 could engage multiple targets simultaneously from different directions, a capability no other tank possessed. The engineering challenge of coordinating 5 separate turrets was immense. Each turret operated independently, requiring constant communication between crew members to avoid friendly fire incidents. The tank's internal layout resembled a cramped apartment building, with fighting compartments separated from each other, and some turrets actually blocking access hatches. Despite its impressive appearance, the T-35 proved mechanically unreliable in combat. During Operation Barbarossa, most T-35s were lost to mechanical failures rather than enemy action. The complex transmission system and underpowered 500-horsepower engine struggled to move the massive vehicle effectively, limiting its operational speed to just 19 miles per hour on roads. Only 61 T-35s were ever built between 1934 and 1939, making it one of the rarest tanks in military history. While it failed as a practical weapon, the T-35 succeeded as a propaganda tool, appearing in countless parades and demonstrating Soviet industrial might to the world. The mysterious hum of The Lun-class Ekranoplan was the only ground effect vehicle ever deployed as an operational warship, earning the nickname Caspian Sea Monster from confused American intelligence analysts who spotted it on satellite imagery. This 242-foot-long beast could skim across water at 342 miles per hour while carrying 6 anti-ship missiles on its back. Ground effect technology allowed the Lun to fly just 13 feet above water surfaces, using compressed air beneath its wings to create lift. This unique flight envelope made it invisible to ship-based radar systems, while remaining too low for conventional aircraft interception. The result was a vehicle that combined the speed of an aircraft with the stealth characteristics of a submarine. The Lun's military capabilities were formidable. Its 6 P-270 Mosquet missiles could engage targets at ranges exceeding 75 miles, while its low-altitude approach made defensive countermeasures nearly impossible. The craft could reach combat zones faster than any surface vessel, while carrying firepower equivalent to a guided missile destroyer. Operationally, the Lun served with the Soviet Caspian flotilla from 1987 until the late 1990s. Its massive Kuznetsov NK-87 engines borrowed from the Il-86 airliner provided 28,600 pounds of thrust each, enabling rapid acceleration and sustained high-speed flight over water. The program ended when the Soviet Union collapsed, leaving only one completed Lun-class vehicle. Today, this remarkable machine sits preserved on a beach in Dagestan, Russia, serving as a tourist attraction and a reminder of Soviet engineering ambition that, honestly, pushed the boundaries between sea and sky. Buran Space Shuttle. Buran Space Shuttle represented the Soviet Union's most ambitious attempt to match American space technology, creating a reusable spacecraft that could perform fully automated missions without human pilots aboard. This achievement made Buran the first spaceplane capable of unmanned orbital flight and autonomous landing. Unlike NASA's Space Shuttle, Buran launched aboard the massive Energia rocket, with its main engines remaining on the booster rather than the orbiter. This design philosophy allowed Buran to carry heavier payloads while reducing the complexity of the reusable vehicle. The spacecraft measured 119 feet long with a 78-foot wingspan, capable of delivering 30 tons to orbit and returning 20 tons to Earth. Buran's November 15, 1988 flight demonstrated technological capabilities that NASA's shuttle couldn't match. The spacecraft completed 2 orbits in 208 minutes, performing a perfect automated landing at Baikonur Cosmodrome without any human intervention. This autonomous capability resulted from sophisticated computer systems that could adapt to changing conditions during re-entry and landing. The program's scale was staggering. Over 1,000 companies across the Soviet Union contributed to Buran's development, making it the largest and most expensive project in Soviet space history. The spacecraft featured advanced thermal protection systems, life support capabilities for 6 crew members, and a cargo bay designed for military and civilian missions. Despite its technical success, Buran flew only once before the Soviet Union's collapse ended the program in 1993. The sole operational orbiter was destroyed in 2002 when its storage hangar collapsed, ending the remarkable story of the Soviet space shuttle that proved automated spaceflight was possible decades before modern autonomous systems. The heliopause's shocking. The VDNKh Robot emerged from the Soviet Union's ambitious vision of a future where humanoid machines would work alongside humans in industry and daily life. Displayed at Moscow's Exhibition of Achievements of National Economy in 1959, this early humanoid robot captured imaginations and demonstrated Soviet technological prowess during the height of the Cold War. Standing 1.8 meters tall, the VDNKh Robot could execute 18 different commands via radio control, including basic movements, gestures, and responses to light and sound stimuli. Its sophisticated control system allowed operators to demonstrate complex sequences that mimicked human behavior, creating an illusion of artificial intelligence that amazed exhibition visitors. The robot's design philosophy reflected Soviet optimism about technological progress. Engineers envisioned a future where such machines would perform dangerous industrial tasks, assist in space exploration, and support human workers in various capacities. The VDNKh Robot served as both a technological demonstration and a propaganda tool, showcasing Soviet innovation in emerging fields like cybernetics and automation. Performance demonstrations occurred every 2 hours on a specially constructed stage in front of the electrification pavilion. The robot's ability to see and hear through primitive sensors created an interactive experience that seemed decades ahead of its time. Audiences watched in amazement as the machine responded to commands and environmental stimuli with human-like movements. While primitive compared to modern robotics, the VDNKh Robot played a crucial role in Soviet technological development. It inspired a generation of engineers and scientists while demonstrating that human-machine collaboration was not just science fiction, but an achievable goal through dedicated engineering and innovation. The search for alien signals begins. The MAZ 7907 stands as the most extreme truck ever built, featuring 24 wheels, 2 gas turbine engines, and the capability to transport 100-ton intercontinental ballistic missiles across any terrain. This 92-foot-long monster was designed to carry the RT-23 Molodets ICBM, a nuclear weapon capable of reaching targets 6,200 miles away. Engineering the MAZ 7907 required solving unprecedented challenges. The vehicle's 24 wheels were individually powered by electric motors, with electricity generated by twin 1,250 horsepower gas turbine engines borrowed from T-80 tanks. This turbine electric drive system provided the torque necessary to move 150-ton payloads while maintaining mobility across rough terrain. The truck's articulated frame design allowed it to navigate obstacles that would immobilize conventional vehicles. 8 pairs of steerable wheels could turn synchronously for crabbing motion or asynchronously for tight turns, giving the 30-meter vehicle a turning radius of just 27 meters. Independent hydropneumatic suspension on each wheel provided 2 meters of ground clearance while maintaining stability. Only 2 MAZ 7907 prototypes were completed before the Cold War ended, making nuclear missile transport unnecessary. However, the vehicle's capabilities were proven in 1996, when one prototype successfully transported an 88-ton ship 250 kilometers from the Berezina River to Lake Narak in Belarus, demonstrating its practical utility beyond military applications. The surviving MAZ 7907 now resides in a museum, representing the pinnacle of Soviet heavy transport engineering. Its unique combination of power, mobility, and payload capacity remains unmatched by any vehicle before or since, proving that Soviet engineers could overcome any logistical challenge when national security demanded it. The 300 mysterious objects discovered. The original Caspian sea monster, officially designated KM Ekranoplan, was an experimental ground effect vehicle that confused American intelligence so thoroughly they couldn't classify it as either aircraft or ship. This 347-foot-long behemoth represented the Soviet Union's boldest attempt to revolutionize military transportation through radical engineering. Designed by Rostislav Alexeyev in the 1960s, the KM used ground effect principles to achieve sustained flight just meters above water surfaces. 10 massive engines mounted on its forward fuselage generated enough thrust to lift the 544-ton vehicle while maintaining speeds up to 460 miles per hour. This combination of size and speed created capabilities that no conventional aircraft or ship could match. The KM's strategic advantages were immediately apparent to military planners. Flying below radar detection altitude while maintaining aircraft-like speeds, it could deliver troops, equipment, or weapons to coastal targets without warning. Its ability to operate over water eliminated the need for runways while providing access to 70% of Earth's surface. Testing revealed both the vehicle's potential and limitations. The KM successfully demonstrated its flight capabilities during numerous test missions, proving that ground effect could support vehicles far larger than anyone previously imagined. However, operational constraints became evident. The craft could only fly safely in calm weather conditions, and saltwater spray caused engine corrosion problems. The program ended in 1980 when pilot error caused the KM to crash during a test flight. Despite its ultimate failure, the Caspian sea monster proved that unconventional engineering approaches could create entirely new categories of vehicles, inspiring future developments in ground effect technology worldwide. The implications of alien technology. The MIL V-12 helicopter holds the distinction of being the largest helicopter ever built, a twin-rotor giant designed to transport intercontinental ballistic missiles to remote launch sites across the Soviet Union. With rotors spanning 220 feet tip to tip, this mechanical praying mantis could lift payloads that challenged the laws of physics. Powered by 4 massive turboshaft engines producing 6,500 horsepower each, the V-12 generated enough lift to carry 88,000 pounds of cargo to altitude. Its side-by-side rotor configuration eliminated the torque problems that plagued single-rotor heavy-lift helicopters, while providing redundancy crucial for carrying nuclear weapons across vast distances. The helicopter's record-setting capabilities were demonstrated in 1969, when test pilots carried a 40,000-kilogram load to 2,255 meters altitude, a helicopter weightlifting record that remains unbroken today. This achievement proved that rotorcraft could handle strategic cargo missions previously reserved for fixed-wing aircraft, opening new possibilities for military logistics. Operating the V-12 required exceptional skill and coordination. 6 crew members, including a dedicated electrician, managed the complex systems necessary to keep the giant airborne. The helicopter's enormous size created unique handling challenges, with rotor wash powerful enough to damage ground facilities and nearby aircraft. Despite successful testing, the V-12 never entered production. The Soviet military ultimately chose rail-mobile missile systems over helicopter transport, making the massive rotorcraft unnecessary. Only 2 prototypes were built, representing the absolute limits of helicopter technology and demonstrating that Soviet engineers could scale any concept to unprecedented proportions when strategic requirements demanded it.
Tsar Tank.
The Tsar Tank represented Imperial Russia's most bizarre approach to armored warfare, featuring 2 enormous 27-foot diameter wheels at the front and a small trailing wheel at the rear. This tricycle-like armored vehicle looked more like a giant penny-farthing bicycle than a military weapon, yet it embodied revolutionary thinking about battlefield mobility. Designed in 1914 by Nikolai Lebedenko, the Tsar Tank's unusual configuration aimed to solve trench warfare's mobility problems. The massive front wheels could theoretically roll over trenches, obstacles, and rough terrain that would stop conventional tracked vehicles. At 40 feet long and 30 feet tall, the vehicle towered over battlefield obstacles while providing an elevated firing platform for its crew. The tank's armament included multiple machine guns and cannon positions distributed throughout its armored hull. Crew members operated from various levels within the vehicle, with gunners positioned to provide 360-degree coverage. The elevated design offered excellent visibility and firing angles that ground-level tanks couldn't achieve. However, the Tsar Tank's first test revealed fatal flaws in its design. The rear wheel, much smaller than the front wheels, immediately became stuck in soft ground, immobilizing the entire vehicle. The massive front wheels, while impressive in concept, created enormous ground pressure that caused the tank to sink into anything softer than concrete. After this embarrassing failure, the Tsar Tank was abandoned in the testing area, where it remained until 1923. Despite its impractical design, the vehicle demonstrated Russian willingness to pursue radical solutions to military challenges, establishing a tradition of unconventional thinking that would characterize Soviet engineering for decades.
Tsar Tank.
The Bartini Beriev VVA-14 looked like it flew straight out of a science fiction movie, resembling Star Wars Millennium Falcon, 5 years before that film was even made. This vertical takeoff amphibious aircraft represented one of the Soviet Union's most ambitious attempts to create a multi-role vehicle capable of operating from land, water, or aircraft carriers. Designed by Italian-born engineer Roberto Bartini, the VVA-14 featured an unusual configuration with a central fuselage flanked by 2 large pontoons and multiple lift engines for vertical flight. This design allowed the aircraft to take off vertically like a helicopter, transition to horizontal flight like an airplane, and land on water like a seaplane, all within a single mission profile. The aircraft's intended role was anti-submarine warfare, using its unique capabilities to patrol vast ocean areas while remaining independent of traditional airfields. 14 lift engines mounted in the pontoons provided vertical thrust, while 2 cruise engines enabled high-speed horizontal flight. The combination promised unprecedented operational flexibility for naval aviation. Testing began in 1972, with the VVA-14 successfully demonstrating conventional takeoff and landing capabilities. However, the vertical flight system was never fully implemented due to technical challenges with the lift engines. The complex transition between flight modes proved more difficult than anticipated, requiring sophisticated control systems that exceeded 1970s technology. Only 3 prototypes were built before the program was canceled in 1975. Despite its failure to achieve full operational capability, the VVA-14 demonstrated Soviet willingness to pursue revolutionary aircraft concepts that pushed the boundaries of aeronautical engineering and inspired future developments in vertical takeoff technology. From flying tanks to nuclear-powered trucks, these 10 Soviet machines prove that when engineers are given unlimited budgets and impossible challenges, they create vehicles that redefine reality itself. Each machine represents a moment when Soviet designers looked at conventional wisdom and decided to build something completely different instead. While many failed to achieve their ambitious goals, they pushed technology forward and inspired innovations we still use today. These weren't just machines. They were dreams made of steel and determination. Thanks for watching Stellar Tech, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories from the world of engineering extremes.